For me, one of the most interesting parts of the whole process was planning the work within the classroom, because rather than going in with a set of plans that I'd spent hours preparing, I went in with a picture and got the children's reactions.
We decided it would start in spring 2, the second half of the spring term, because we wanted to have an open-endedness to it.
We looked at the landscape of Mechelen in the distance in the actual painting and compared it with the London landscape. I then took the shapes that the children found in both the Mechelen skyline and the London skyline and linked that to the 2D shape objective in the Year 3 curriculum. The children then made their own London skylines using a selection of 2D shapes and tried as much as possible to match the shapes to the Houses of Parliament, and they were very excited about the project, and the work that came out was really very good.
We got the picture out in the art room for each of the classes, and we had a big brainstorming session, found all the details and little things that were hidden.
Which bits of the picture they were fascinated by, which bits they wanted to take further.
Writing questions about the characters and the picture, and then we put speech bubbles of what we think they would be saying.
We're doing the take-home picture competition, and we're trying to make of the inside of the castle where Peter Paul Rubens lived.
That leads into the kitchen. They suddenly come to a halt in the middle of the staircase. What's that sound?
Decided to use sound effects because if we didn't use sound effects, because it's a radio play and you can't see what's happening, so we needed sound effects.
Jelly bit was so funny because the splat made the splat. It was really weird, the splat, but I really liked it.
All the kingfishers, partridges and goldfinch in a net to make a little flock of them flying. We stuck the wings on, paper mache'd it onto the body of the bird.
We saw a man riding a horse, and we decided we make our own junk horses.
I enjoyed it because it was really good fun and you could get your hands really messy and it was just like something we had never done in school before.
I do normally like countryside pictures like Henri Rousseau's pictures and Rubens' pictures.
First we made the shape with wire and twisted it together, which was very tricky, and then we put clay around it and got the clay all smooth. Then we put the clothes on and we had to make sure that there were no gaps. Then paint it, and it was tricky getting the right skin colour. After we made the fisherman, we had to make the fish for him to be trying to catch, and the wall for him to be leaning over. We had to use tissue paper. We put glue on it. We made these kind of petal wires. We made it into petals, and then we put tissue paper on top.
The clouds in the picture and compared them to clouds in other paintings. One of the children suggested that, well, why don't we go and have a look at clouds outside? So we did that. We spent a very interesting morning just drawing clouds outside. And then, again, the children led that into, well, what sort of clouds are they? And so we ended up doing a lot of research about the different types of clouds.
The left-hand side, there's like, I think the rain's gonna come because they're quite dark clouds. And on the right-hand side, there's the sun, and they are very light clouds. We decided to do light, so we went into a dark room. We had torches and cameras, and you had to move around the torch or the camera. So you would put the torch under a cone and then move the cone and the torch around or the camera very quickly. We used the chalk magic to make light effects much better than if we had with colour pastels.
We ended up focusing on some of the structures in the picture. So the bridges were our big project in the end. And so we spent a couple of weeks working very hard to create the children's own bridges from their imaginations. They then used their bridges as settings for stories. We adapted the Three Billy Goats Gruff story. Children took it wherever they wanted it to go.
I made the hunter.
get zapped by the alien.
I think my game is successful because it's really colourful, which attracts people to play with it. The counters are really good at staying up. The board is laminated, so it can't be rubbed out or smudged.
The impact of Take One Picture on us as a school has been really to open our eyes to the possibility of teaching in a more cross-curricular fashion. We really did take it on as a year group, and the school were very supportive.
Learning through art because it's fun and sometimes hard.
Children's work will be on show during Parents' Evening after half term. We're going to set it up a bit like a gallery so that parents and children can look around the installation of the art as well as see the kind of things the children were doing in their other subjects.
The literacy strategy is encouraging teachers and learning practitioners to encourage their children to think in a more cross-curricular fashion, so that science is not a bubble on its own, same for history and so on. So in a way, we've almost trained the children through this project to think in the way that we would like them to think in the future.